All right, folks, welcome back to the Night's Watch. I'm Jacob.
I'm Alex.
And we are at the tavern. We just watched
6-3 loss.
Fucking clown show of a fucking game.
Well, it could have been worse because we were saying the entire time.
Could have been a whole hell of a lot better.
It could have been a shutout, but Stuart Skinner fucked up on 3 goals. But it could have been a win. It could have been a lot of things. It's just...
What I'm really taking away from this game before we get into the details is that I would love to see Stu Skinner in a 7-game series.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love it.
He would not survive, I mean, look what happened last year. Like, they pulled him so many times and back and forth. And then same with the series against us. He wasn't in there the entire time. They won 6-3. They get this win. So what? It's the regular season. We won the 2 other ones in a tight game. We came off of a very hard-fought game against Winnipeg, and they're also hot. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen 100% of the time. Like, shit like this happens. But, you would love to have it a little tighter. You would love not to give up 6 goals.
To me, the 2 big negatives were if you told me, like, yeah, we're going to go on a 3-game road trip and we're going to play Winnipeg and Edmonton and Minnesota, you're going to lose the Edmonton game, I'd be like, okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
To me, it was going down fucking 5-0.
5-0. Yeah.
5-0. And then you crawl back into it by scoring 3 goals, including a fucking gift of a goal.
The gift of Stuart Skinner just fucking up. Like,
that was where I was like, oh my God, we actually have some momentum. We might be able to. But yeah, I was like, we had this opportunity to climb back in or at least make it close. I'm not trying to say we would have won.
Totally.
But then they just immediately squander it with that fucking goal by Jeff Skinner.
Who's not done shit for the entire season.
Oh, I drafted him on fantasy team, and then I dropped him because he was not doing
bad.
anything.
He's not. I mean, that was the 1 goal he scored in how many fucking weeks? Like, but still, like, no, I agree with you. Like, it's you would.
And there's clearly a problem right now. Not to get too much into the minutia, there's clearly a problem with rebounds and rebound goals.
That's the big. That's the thing.
The first few, I was like, okay, I'm not putting it on Skinner because it was obviously the team not collecting those rebounds. Hill. Yeah, I'm sorry, on Hill, they're obviously not collecting those rebounds. But that last one, that was a little too juicy of a rebound.
Yes, very much.
It literally went straight through everyone right to Jeff Skinner's stick. I'm like, okay,
But I think it's a good point though. Like, the issues we've had, we started cleaning them up, right? So, like,
I don't want to be too negative because we've been on such a good stretch and
we beat Winnipeg. We came back
so good,
Everybody's due for a dud, right?
Yeah.
And obviously we had that 6-0 game against Utah, but that was Samsonov, and Utah's trying to fight back with their issues. And we had this 6-3 loss to Edmonton, but they're also hot. They beat fucking Minnesota into the ground 7-1. Fundamentally, if you can lose a 5-0 shutout, there's something fundamentally wrong with your team.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we still lost, and I know this sounds like cope, but like, if we can come back, it was 5-3 at one point.
Yeah. yeah. And like I said, that's when I was like, oh man, actually I have hope right now.
Like, if you can come back from a 5-0 and make it 5-3, sure, it's regular season, but this means that there's the fight that's in this team that you want to look for, right?
Exactly. And like I said, I don't want to be that guy that, you don't
want to be the person that freaks out over a regular season loss.
Yeah.
Shit like this happens.
Yeah, granted, it was a bad loss, but it was not as bad as it could have been.
No.
And
no.
We've been playing so well in general. Game didn't end the way we wanted it. We got Minnesota tomorrow. In case anyone listening can't tell, we're recording this on Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. I'll edit it tonight.
Should we talk about the Winnipeg game a little more?
Yeah, that was, that's a game that I know we lost today against Edmonton, but that's a game that reflects that we can come back against literally the best team in the league.
Yeah, and in a way, it did kind of reflect some problems that we've had of, letting up the first goal and falling behind and having to come back. But at the same time, it felt so different than the games in November did because we were playing very well.
Oh,
a lot of those November games we weren't playing well. We fell behind, and then we pulled a rabbit out of our ass and somehow won.
Whereas this game was more of against Winnipeg more of like
we were playing well. We just weren't getting.
They just got those jump changes like that Chipperkoff goal. It was like something that they get a lot, and
wasn't there
Cassidy said that in his post game where it's like this is a play they do all the time. We just did not play it well. It gets a lot of teams.
Yeah. And it was because at some point wasn't when they scored, wasn't that like their first shot, and they only had like 3 shots in the period or something.
We held them to nothing.
Yeah, so. Ultimately, I think the Winnipeg game was. If you look at it from from a distance, it looks like we just got saved by some last minute penalties and whatever. I think we played very well in that game.
We did,
and I would even say we did deserve to win that game. It didn't quite shake out the way you expected.
They had some jump chances and they capitalized on it, right? But those goals that we did score in crunch time. That's what you say we get bailed out, but those are the goals that you want to have. Those are clutch goals. Yeah, that penalty in the last minute that led to us getting a goal, to tie it. It's like, Mark Stone blocked a little bit. Oh, Neil Pionk, maybe don't chop at someone's shins. Like he literally took his stick across and chopped directly at.
Well, see, I didn't do what internet fans love to do and slow it down frame by frame and cry foul about it.
Right.
Just watching it in real time, the replays I saw on TV, I'm like, yeah, that's a trip. You fucking tripped him.
Yeah, he chopped at his shin at his ankle.
And the way I view it is, if you're gonna do something that's gonna cause something to trip, the person that's getting tripped, it's not on him to not fall down. You know what I mean? All I can think is if I was out there and someone's skate hit the back of mine and I lost my balance.
Of course I'm gonna fall down. Yeah.
I'm not gonna, twist my back muscles trying to, keep myself upright. Because I'm like, oh God, please don't let the other team get a penalty.
No,
exactly. You tripped me, and I'm not gonna exaggerate it, but I'm also not gonna hide it either.
No, exactly.
I'm just gonna let nature take its course.
Yeah, and that led to a game tying power play goal, and then we won in overtime. But I think that game was kind of a microcosm of what we could do good and what we could do bad. And I think that's the first game where we saw where rebound control needs to be better. So that Stripperkov goal was complete. Handle the rebound.
Yeah.
But I obviously, like you say, we lost 6-3 tonight. But when the flaws come up, I feel like they're being fixed.
It kind of goes back to what we talked about last time, right? With our good friend Tyler, special guest of the show.
Yep.
But when we're talking about how a big thing with this team is building your game, improving, tackling issues when they come up. And here's the thing: we play Minnesota tomorrow, Sunday.
Hard team. Yep.
And then that'll be a hard game. I don't know how it's going to end. We may very well be another ugly loss, but then we get something that a lot of teams aren't getting right now. We get another break.
Another big break
because we don't play. The next game is going to be Vancouver
on
the following
Thursday. Yeah.
So that's going to be at least 2 rest. It's going to be another 2 rest days, another 2 practices.
Yeah. And those practices where you can work on rebound control, defensive collection.
It's just a chance because we saw it. Because I'll still maintain we saw it on the road trip, then we saw it after the road trip.
Yep.
When you're having a brutal schedule, you don't have time to work on those small details. You know?
Absolutely.
You don't have time to iron out those wrinkles. You basically just show the video. I'm like, all right, don't do that. But when you have a proper practice,
actually have a chance to set up,
run some drills, get those touches, get that muscle memory going, get those reflexes sharpened.
Yep.
This is basically a long way of saying today sucked, but I still feel good about the team. I feel good about where we're at. We're still first in the division.
We are.
It's very close.
Very close. LA's been on a fucking heater, man. They beat the Rangers 5-1 today. They've won 7 in a row, something like that.
Yeah. And
no, dude, they're good.
Refresh this, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, after today, so LA's 2 points behind us. Edmonton's 3 points behind us. We all have 30 games played.
Yeah.
So it's tight.
I think the Pacific's starting to shake out the way we thought it was going to shake out.
Yeah. Calgary's finally slipped back into mediocrity.
Yeah, and then Seattle and Vancouver coming back up into it. And then Vancouver got Demko back, but he really didn't have that good of a game. But in Demko's defense, hasn't played hockey.
That was his first game since like the first round of the playoffs last year.
Yeah, exactly.
The Winnipeg game was much more heartening. I am curious to see how we do against Minnesota tomorrow.
Me too.
By the time anyone listens to us, I guess they'll know. But yeah, I was curious to see how they're going to prioritize the goalies. They started Hill today because I think they thought that would give them the best chance to win today and kind of slow down Edmonton. Obviously, that didn't happen.
I think they should have played Samsonov because at this point, they kind of, I would say 4 out of those 6 goals weren't 100% on Hill. They kind of have a book on them, right? And maybe you throw Samsonov as a wrinkle, and then Minnesota, put Hill in.
See, I obviously hindsight's 2020. We know we lost this game with Hill in the net. I still probably would have played Hill because to me that's still, looking at it again without hindsight, to me that gives you the best chance of winning against a divisional opponent that's now only 3 points behind you.
Yes.
It's a 4-point game, It's not just the 2 that you could win, it's the 2 that you take away.
Yeah.
So that was a big game for Edmonton, They
totally.
took our 2 away, they kept their 2.
They made a good point was that Edmonton doesn't want to get swept in this series. They're fighting as hard as they could to win this game and not get swept.
No, I was wrong. It turns out there is one more game against Edmonton.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
At home, late in the year.
But that's what I'm saying.
But
if they lost this game,
they would have lost the series.
They would have lost. Yeah, they're trying
series.
to make it 50-50.
And it was their last home game against us, and I'm sure they didn't want another game of their home fans watching us fucking piss in their cereal.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, and then look at Winnipeg though. Like we haven't lost the game to them in how many seasons?
We haven't lost a game to them since the big October of 2022.
Jesus.
In the regular season, we did lose one playoff game.
Yeah, but that's the thing that gets said is like Winnipeg's like the hardest place to play in.
Not for us.
Not for us. We're consistently.
Well, it's
winning
because
those
half
games.
the team's from fucking Manitoba.
True.
I was trying to think of how to phrase this joke when we're playing that game, but all I could think was like, wow, the only reason the Winnipeg building was full was because all the Golden Knights' fucking friends and family were in attendance.
Yeah, no, literally. Because Colasar had friends and families in. I mean, it's Colasar, Howden, Stone, McNabb, McCrimmon is he's from there.
Nick Wallace from Montreal.
I think it's those 4 players. I think.
Yeah, I can't think for sure. I just know that when we won the cup, fucking,
Oh, White Cloud.
White Cloud.
Is from the native tribes in Manitoba.
Yeah, I just remember when we won the cup, I was like wanting to see it more after the parade. I'm like, well, it's spending all its fucking. The Cup spent half the summer in fucking Manitoba that year.
Yeah, literally. It's spent more time in Manitoba than Winnipeg's ever won anything. But yeah, I mean, it sucks to lose this game 6-3, right? But like, sucks to lose this game 6-3. But we beat Winnipeg. We'll see what happens tomorrow against Minnesota. But also, there's been plenty of things to be optimistic about. Like, Colasar just got a 3-year deal.
Yeah,
3 by 2.5.
I'll say, should we talk about that? So, I think there's 2 or 3 big news items, I would say. One's kind of dark. Maybe we'll save that for the end.
You'll save that for the end. That's, Jesus Christ.
But the big positive is Keegan Colasar signs a 3-year extension, $2.5 million.
Great
I think
deal.
that's a fantastic deal.
Incredible deal for what he
I saw
brings.
some people online like, are you really going to pay a 4th liner that much? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. That's the going rate.
That's the going rate for
we talked about this with the cap going
a
up.
good 4th liner.
A good 4th liner going rate. It's going to be over.
Having a career year.
It's going to be over $2 million. Like, without question. Like, unless you want to fill your bottom 6 out with $1 million league minimum fucking garbage players, then.
I was saying, well, it could be worse. You could be fucking the Islanders and fucking putting not Pajot, but fucking you could be putting Pierre Engvall on fucking waivers, making $3 million a year. Who would you rather have, Alex? Pierre Engvall, $3 million. Keegan Coulthard, $2.5 million.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Keegan Coulthard at $2.5 million
Easily.
And he's consistently in like the top, 80-90% metrics of defense, as forward.
He hits. He's physical.
He does everything you want him to.
And he can play up in the lineup. We're talking about this last episode where there was a good 3 weeks or so where that Hurdle, Waugh, Coulthard line, that was effectively our second line.
Yeah.
And he was holding his own.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great deal. And then the fact that we still have money available, and now we're at the point where it's just
Hill and Eichel, right?
Hill and Eichel. No, well, Eichel has got one more year.
Eichel's got one more year, but I feel like when it's a deal of that magnitude, you got to
do it now.
You start worrying about that shit.
Yeah, it's really Hill and Eichel, and then if Pearson wants to sign a deal, or if Olofsson wants to sign nothing. But the focus is Hill and Eichel.
Core pieces.
It's Eichel and Hill. Eichel first, and you know what? It's fantastic that Eichel's not up this year. He's not up for another 2 years. He can still re-sign. And we can get him for probably $10, $11 million again, and because he's happy to be here. It's not a situation where he's unhappy. He's not winning. He won a fucking cup. That man's going to be ready to stay here, and I think we should pay him, more obviously for what he brings. And then so Eichel would be not this year, it'd be next year. But Hill is this year. I think Hill we can get back for 4 or 5 because hit or miss with him.
I was going to say it's that would get interesting, right? Because it's the cap's going up. In theory, everyone's salary is going up, and I'm like, he had a rough start.
He had a rough year last year too after the injury, and he's been injured. So
but he was really good in the playoffs.
He was. Can you reason with him that hey, this is what you've been doing, and here's where we're at? I don't know.
You know what? You just do the grocery store or the retail store trick, right? Where
I think
0.9 sounds 4.9 sounds like a deal. Bump it up to 5. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, we're recorded.
Hi. That was a fun game.
Yeah.
Was it though?
Yeah. But but going to $5 million, it's just it's not unreasonable for Hill.
I was going to say exactly. I'm like 5. That just sounds like so much more than 4.9. You give him that little psychological bump. Be like, hey, buddy, 5 by
it's
5. How old is he? Like 27?
27,
28.
Yeah, he's still relatively young.
I'd give him like a 5 by 3.
5 by 3 by 4. Yeah, totally. Because your goaltender can be in their prime from 27 to I would argue probably at 35, 36. Yeah, Fleury's a different story, but in his late 20s to 35, that's where a goaltender kind of thrives, right?
Yeah.
That's where you have Hellebuck and Hill and Bob is a little older, but Bennington's he was an older rookie, but now he's in that back end of his 20s where he's doing better. Fleury's a great example. Price, all these guys that have been really good, they were that span of 8 years. It's this is where you get them. And I think $5 million for Hill, that'd be great.
I'll take it.
It's a great deal because we're in guys like Jeremy Swayman are getting paid fucking 8 and change.
Jesus.
Still
talking about goalies having shit years.
Being dog shit. And then Shesterkin he signs that deal for 12 and a half.
11 and a half.
And follows up with fucking dog shit games. Yeah, sure. The Rangers have been bad.
In his defense, that organization's a fucking tire fire right now.
But to get paid that much money.
Yeah. I guess you could argue
he should be carrying the team.
Well, that's the thing.
Regardless of how bad the team in front of him has been.
He has been carrying the team, but I feel like
he just lost to LA 5-1.
Well, yeah, the team lost, man.
Sure.
When the team was winning President's trophies and going to the conference finals, that was all on his back.
Yes,
It was like
I agree with that.
It was all on
totally.
his back, and then like some timely some
going
timely
to the
power play goals from like Chris Kreider and
going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, no, I agree that
But like,
I agree.
Any goalie, no matter how good they are, if the team just gives up in front of you, like you know what I mean? Like there's just nothing you can do. Like so I'm not putting it on him. I still think I still think Connor Hellebuyck's better.
And he's getting paid 8 and change.
Yeah, so
that's insane to me.
Connor
Hellebuyck's getting paid almost the same as Jeremy Swayman.
Yeah, so God.
And Connor Hellebuyck has been consistently the best goaltender in the league the last
like
4 years.
Yeah. So, but back to the Rangers real quick, I would just say that I would put Hellebuyck. I would put Shesterkin, to me, comfortably 2 behind Hellebuyck.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will say he's the best. I'm not convinced.
No, Connor Hellebuyck has got the resume. He's won the best. He's won multiple Vezinas.
And to me, Connor Hellebuyck, he's what you want in a goalie in the sense that he's steady.
Yes, I know his playoffs have not been
Shesterkin
great.
will have like bad periods and then counter it with like pure insanity good periods. But
I know I know Hellebuck's playoffs haven't been incredible. He's let in some softs and like had some pretty bad play, but also in his defense is that the team in front of him also gave up too.
Yeah.
Whereas like you said, Shesterkin carried those Rangers teams through the playoffs to those Eastern Conference rounds, to the divisional rounds, and he didn't let anything in, let one goal in, and that team just didn't back him up. Whereas with Winnipeg, that entire team kind of gave up at a certain point.
Yeah, and so do I think 11.5 is pricey? Yes. Am I aghast? Like, oh my God, how can they do that? No.
Because he's literally the second best goaltender in the league.
Yeah, to me, it's within the realm of reasonability for what he brings and what the cap situation is going to look like.
When Hellebuyck was he had his 1 year left, and he signed for that deal, I think everybody went, "Holy shit, that's a fucking bargain."
Well, yeah, because they got him and Scheifele for like
the same amount of money,
basically identical deals, and
I thought both of them were
I thought both of them
bargains.
Yeah, I thought both of them were either going to be gone. Or like or like one of them was going to get paid like 9.5, and the other one was going to leave.
Both those were great bargains. For again, Hellebuyck, every single year, Vezina contender. Sure,
and this is why they're good. You sign deals like that. You let Pierre-Luc Dubois go, then you bring in Gabe Vilardi for a discount.
Had a great fucking year.
You let Blake Wheeler go. You bring in fucking Chipkov.
In that trade for PLD, you got back fucking Alex Alafalo, who's been really good, and Gabe Vilardi.
Yeah.
Both been incredible. Vilardi obviously scoring and doing everything in your top 6, but Alafalo's been so good on the bottom 6 for them.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you let go of Wheeler and you bring in Shibrikov, and Shibrikov is, I think we talked about it at the beginning of the year, like why bring him in. Cole Perfetti's been really fucking good.
Yeah, Cole Perfetti. Yeah.
It's been good. Shibrikov's been good. The only guy that hasn't popped in is Brad Lambert, but they don't need him to right now. Josh Morrissey's been incredible. Neil Pion's been really fucking good.
Winnipeg might not be making blockbuster deals, but they're making very savvy moves.
Yeah, I think
which is why that whole Buffalo thing just rings so hollow for people. The
Buffalo thing.
The whole like, oh well, we don't have palm trees, we have state taxes and cold
that's
winters.
That's right.
And I'm like, well, I don't think you're going to find a colder winter in the league than fucking Winnipeg.
Fucking Winnipeg. No, and the guys are playing there, and they're playing
and
well
guess what?
there.
They had the best American goalie fucking signing long-term extensions with them,
It's bullshit, because I remember seeing that, whereas the GM for Buffalo was like, oh, it's a lot of things, this and this. I'm like, that's not true, because there's guys playing in fucking Winnipeg. There's guys playing in Toronto. There's guys that are wanting to play in fucking Edmonton. There's guys playing in Minnesota. And it's frankly bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason you use. I'm like, no, it's because you guys are a poorly run fucking organization, and your ownership is dog shit. I know we rambled into somehow Buffalo is dog shit.
We're just flowing, Alex.
Exactly.
We're flowing.
Because
there's only so much we can talk about Vegas. We have to talk about the league.
That's such a bullshit fucking statement, I think. Like
to me, I do feel a little bad because I feel like it was kind of a radio. What do they call it? Where you get radioed, where they take one part out and they focus on that. Like when you listen to the
out of
full,
context.
yeah, when you listen to the full quote, because he did say well, we need to be better.
Sure.
We when you become a successful team, you earn the right to have free agents want to sign with you, and he was saying a lot of the right things. I think he kind of threw that bit in almost as a joke. That's kind of what it sounded like.
Yeah.
But people really latched onto it, and
but
that's also kind of to me. I'm I don't even know why he had that press conference to begin with. I think he was I think he was trying to show the fans and the players that where he's guys, I'm not giving up on this team. He's I tried.
Good.
I'm trying to sign free agents. I'm trying to make moves.
I don't think it's so much that nobody wants to sign in Buffalo. People will sign in Buffalo. Alex Tuch was happy to go there.
Yeah, but he's from there.
But also what's his name? He used to play on Minnesota. Greenway.
Yeah.
He signed there. He's I like this place.
Yeah.
Jeff Skinner didn't have bad things to say about the team. Eichel did, but that was because of the ownership. But again, it's the ownership. It's not the GM. It's not the coaching. It's the ownership. It's the Pagulas. The Pagulas are fucking terrible, dude.
So I don't know if you've been listening to Jeff Merrick's new show.
No, I should. I feel like it's great.
There's only been 2 or 3. I listened to one of them, and he had actually I don't think it was even his show. I think he did a guest spot on one of Daily Face-Off's other shows.
Yeah.
He had Johnny Lazarus and the other guy. Anyways, point being, they were talking about Buffalo in that press conference, and the fact that they've lost 7 or 8 games in a row. And
didn't we wait? I just don't want to interrupt you. Didn't we say this last week? Where it's Buffalo is that example of.
They follow the same pattern every year.
Same
they
with
have a
Ottawa.
slow start. Everyone laughs. They have a good November. It looks like they're building steam, and right when people start whispering, Buffalo, suddenly Buffalo looks pretty good. Then they hit December and they collapse.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ottawa, it's kind of the opposite, where they have a strongish start. Be okay, Ottawa's the real deal. And then they hit November and they collapse. They're the first to collapse and the first to get the negative media. And then they fall apart.
Yep.
And then the opposite. After they fall apart, then they quietly start building back up. And then by around January to March, when they're already out of it, people are hey, they look pretty good. Next year, if they can put this together next year, they'll be a threat. I feel the last few years I've been taking turns, trying to pick which of those 3 teams, Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa. I'm which one's going to break through? And I look foolish every time. I pick a different one each time, and I look foolish each time because it just never happens.
Yeah, it just never happens.
It just never happens.
It's always going to be – it's always in the Metro. It's this
Nikita Kucherov will be 40 years old, still playing with Tampa, and still they'll probably be a wild card team that loses in the first round every year eventually.
And somehow
but they will still
Ottawa,
they will still ensure that those 3 teams do not get entry.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that I think Ottawa you would think would trend in a different direction, right? Because the ownership change and
and that's what you think, right? But
it just didn't.
Yeah. and then
it's still not.
I got sidetracked, but when I brought up Jeff Merrick, it's because no, don't apologize. I sidetracked myself. But they were talking about Buffalo, and he was he's guys, call me out if I'm wrong, but I look at this team, and what I really see is just inexperience. He's I see all these talented players that had either no time in the AHL or little time in the AHL. They just got put in the NHL immediately.
Yeah.
And then I see a GM that was very experienced, because I think Kevin Adams, I think he was part of the Buffalo organization, but he was he was the head of the ticketing department or some shit,
But he's part of the team. Like Tate Thompson, very talented. Don't get me wrong, no experience past a certain point. Alex Tuch only has experience with the Golden Knights in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Zach Benson, nothing. JJ Peterka, nothing.
Dylan Cousins,
nothing. Casey Millicek got traded.
Remember when they tried to make Devon Levy their starter,
and it just didn't work
after going straight from college.
No shit. He's fucking 21 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I saw it coming, and I go back because I like the kid, but thanks, sir. And I think it's just put that in contrast to the fucking Golden Knights. Remember what we saw a few weeks ago, or what I talked about a few weeks ago, where McCrimmon said, like, something is like, I like to overcook my prospects.
Yes.
I like to keep them in the minors until they're like fucking 23 years old.
Look at Dory.
And yeah, exactly. And then you bring them up, and then suddenly Dorofeev has 12 goals in December. Like, that's a good number for this time of year.
Yeah, look at Dory. Look at Korsak. I know Korsak had
Look at Paul Cotter. He's having a good season in fucking New Jersey.
The guys that weren't overcooked.
Logan Thompson is the starting goalie for the
Yeah.
Washington Capitals. They're like third in the league right now.
Yeah, the guys that weren't overcooked. That look at we didn't overcook Krebs, and he's not good in Buffalo. Brisson, we're trying, but he's I don't know about Brisson, but like guys that we didn't, like you said, didn't overcook him, like Eric Brandstrom. Where is he? He's not even in the league. He's in the AHL. He's like what, with the Eagles right now, with Colorado.
And I should clarify, like not every
prospect's going to take to that.
Not
right?
every prospect's going to succeed, like period, no matter what you do.
No.
So like, yeah, Brisson's not taking off. I don't think it's not for lack of trying to develop him. We gave him all this time in the AHL. He's on the top line on the AHL team. Granted, the AHL team's a fucking tire fire.
We haven't even gotten to that yet. That's fucking a nightmare.
It's funny. It seemed like Henderson was turning the page.
We were hyped on them this year.
They won we were hyped. That was obviously wrong of us.
Jesus
and then
Christ.
They had that awful start, completely like historically disastrous start. But then we won like 2 or 3 in a row. It seemed like they were really buckling down. They got all these guys back. Things were turning around, and then they lost 3 in a row. So I'm like, okay, they basically just deleted any momentum they had. And then I think they're playing today. I should check the score.
They're gonna play. No, they're playing at 7 tonight. I think against another whatever fucking AHL fucked up division they have.
I think they're playing the Roadrunners tonight.
Yeah, exactly. They lost last night,
yeah.
4-2 or something like that. I mean,
I still maintain like they have the talent to not be this bad.
It just doesn't make sense to me, right?
Yeah,
I think a big thing is that.
So we're 10th in our division out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Let's look at the league standings. I'm pretty sure
we're last.
We're last. Yeah. There's 32 teams in the AHL. We're 32nd. We're
Yeah.
6th and 17. No, we have not played an overtime game yet. That's weird.
We've lost everything in regulation.
We lost 17 games in regulation.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. And even then, I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm like, at this point, do we even put Connolly there next year? Or are we just like, no, stay away, man? Like, if we put you in this fucking tire fire, you're not going to develop.
Here's my thing is that, again, we've said before, would you rather the big team be really good like we are right now? I know we lost tonight, but we are first in the Pacific. We're a top 5 team in the overall in the league.
Yeah.
Would you rather this be really good or your AHL team be terrible? But in kind of an argument, it's like, yeah, your AHL team can be terrible, but is that really good for guys like Matthias Apavilov?
Yeah.
Kai Uchas hasn't played. I'm guessing he's back with the AHL with his junior team.
Yeah.
Is that good for set-off? Is that good for your defense outside of Hay?
Well, it certainly wasn't good for fucking Daniil Chayka, I'll tell you that
Oh, yeah,
much.
we haven't talked about that yet. He got bought out, right? Not bought out, but he got waived for the purpose of a contract termination.
Mutual. I will say.
I was high on him because of his size, his speed.
Well, he had the tool.
He's all the tools to be really
exactly.
good.
Like I'm not. I hate it when media people pretend that they're scouts and like act like they fucking know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not a scout. You don't fucking know. Like unless you're unless you're on a plane every night because you're going from game to game to game.
Yeah, literally.
And watching these guys firsthand and like poking around and talking to the coaches. You're not a scout. You're a fucking overpaid writer for The Athletic, okay? Like any fucking.
Yeah.
I was going to use some bad language. Any fucking special needs kid with an internet connection can fucking look at stats all day.
There's a reason why The Athletic was purchased by the New York Times. It was a publication. Yeah, I like The Athletic. I'm not going to pay for it.
Oh no.
Like I love Jesse Granger. Jesse Granger's got good points, but there's a lot of guys outside of Jesse Granger.
I love Jesse Granger. I love Jesse Granger, but he also takes to Twitter every 2 weeks to say that Georgiev is actually a good goalie.
No,
and I'm like, no.
We didn't even talk about that yet, but stick on topic with Jacob. He had all the tools. He's big. He can move. He can move the puck. It's just didn't put together in the AHL. If you can't put it together in the AHL, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Period. Like you're not gonna make it in the NHL. There's a reason why guys like Korzak passed him. There's a reason why Cormier's been injured this year. I don't know what happened to him because obviously everything's fucking vague as shit. You don't know what what the injury is. He's been injured, but a lot of guys passed him up. It's not so much a Bischoff deal, whereas Bischoff just is a good AHL defenseman. He just wasn't good in the AHL period. He got sent down to the East AHL as a 23-year-old. At that point, you're not going to make anything. Especially when you got like a guy like Artur Cholak in the hopper. And, you know, there's guys that are coming up, or like you know, I know Mayo's a little bit older, but he'll get put up ahead of him.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like,
or guys that are career AHLers, Geertsen and.
I was saying Mayo's he's not a prospect because he's too old, but he's a good AHL player.
There's guys that will play before you, as there's older guys that will play in front of you, even though you're a prospect. And if he gets that point, you're not a prospect anymore.
Exactly. Like basically, like if your dream is to be a top 4 defenseman in the NHL, you fucking better be able to outplay Dyson Mayo in the AHL.
Oh yeah, Dyson Mayo, Robert Haig, Mircea Geertsen, a variety of guys, and he didn't.
It kind of goes back to that thing.
There's a reason why Joe Fleming and Christopher Zedoff are playing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 22 years old, 21 years old. They're playing over you.
They're playing well. They're
playing well over you as Daniil Schenker.
And you know, like, is Zedoff like an offensive top pairing guy? Probably not.
Probably
but
not.
He's in his role and he's playing his role well.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. I agree with you. Like, and this is all brought to the point of Lucas Cormier's injured. There is a wide open.
He hasn't played a game.
He hasn't played a game. There's a wide open spot at the top of that prospect list for defensemen because he's injured, and I don't know when he's going to be back. Well, I don't know what happened to him. There's no story. There's a wide open number 1, and Shaken didn't take that. And it's been bad.
Yeah.
Like. And
also, real quick, but why do people bring children into breweries?
I know we're here at Mojave.
Folks, this is a Tavern Talk episode. I'm sure you heard the background noise.
We are going to get into this a little bit.
Anyone listening, please
do not bring your kids.
Message us, write in, hit us up on Instagram and tell me, why do you bring your children to breweries? It's just not appropriate.
I don't think so, especially with
it's a bar. It's essentially a bar.
At least here at Mojave, there's no food.
There's no food.
It's not like taking your kid to
the only
BJ's or like an Applebee's.
Exactly. Like the only non-alcoholic drinks here are for the designated driver program. And the only food they sell is like prepackaged pretzels, like in case you're drunk and you got the munchies. Like
it's gonna be me in about 45 minutes.
Yeah. You haven't eaten anything, bud.
I gotta.
Shit, man. You should order a fucking chicken sandwich.
Or I can order a pizza from somewhere. I just don't get it. Like if I was a parent, why would you bring your kids into a place like this? Yeah, there's some stuff that's like games and things you can do, but like it's a bar. It's 100% a bar. This is a bar.
Yeah, it's an adult.
It's an adult bar.
It's an adult environment.
It's all beers. I feel like when people bring their kids to like a bar or brewery situation, it immediately brings the vibe down.
Yeah.
Like everybody feels like we have to check ourselves. Like,
exactly.
Before we say some fucking wild shit or start.
I was like, I better not curse in front of the toddler.
Even though we're fucking drinking fucking 30 beers in front of the kid.
Yeah.
And it's also something like you're really gonna have your kid watch you drink 3 beers and then drive home.
No, exactly. Like, oh my god, it's trashy. It's trashy.
A little bit. So just everybody knows, Jacob and Alex don't have any children.
Yeah.
I bring my dog to the brewery. So that's. Yeah. If you
all
want.
right. Well, it's starting to get busy here. What's the time at?
40 minutes. We can keep talking.
I'd say, well, let's hit some last points. And
yeah.
I'll get the Santa hats, but
yeah, but like no, but we're talking about we sidetracked us
Henderson,
but like the Silver Knights, dude, it's just I want them to be good because I am a season ticket holder, but there's a certain point where it's like I get it. The goal is NHL. The main team needs to be good, should be winning playoff games, should be winning everything. Get that. Totally get that. But you've got to be better than fucking the worst in the goddamn league, dude.
Yeah.
30 seconds. I also get it.
Well,
because we're
it really comes down to it's like I said, like with Connolly, like do you put him in that system, and like how is anyone to have a fair shot of developing?
I think Connolly, what they're doing right now with Connolly, Cataford,
it's smart. They're keeping him. They're probably doing it on purpose. They're keeping him away from Henderson. Keeping him away from Henderson.
Yeah, I think it's smart because Connolly's with Providence. Cataford's lighting it up in his junior league.
He's like literally been like the leading scorer in the QMJHL.
Yeah, I know the Q's been.
Granted, the Q is a joke right now,
but then again, you could also say next year, why would we put Cataford or Connolly into the AHL? Let's have them play a couple games in the E. Like,
yeah,
if they're ready to go, if they're ready to play and be in a semi-professional league, let them do that.
And also, it kind of goes back to that whole philosophy.
Connolly could have a spot next season.
He could. And it goes back to that whole philosophy, though, of overcooking your prospects. I think McCrimmon's timing it where he's like, when do I want them to sign their 3-year entry-level deal?
Yes.
If they sign it when they're 19, 20, that'll get me up to their 23-year. And in my system, the way I run my teams,
23
when they're hitting 22, 23, 24, that's when they might make the team. You know?
Look at Pavs.
Exactly.
Yeah, like he's 23, 24. Korczak, 23, 24. Like the guys that you cook to know that they're there. And as much as we were hesitant on the Connolly, draft, he has a shit ton of talent. Yeah. He would have been a top 10 pick in that draft if it wasn't for the attitude, personality issue that came up.
Yeah.
He is one of the most talented players that were in the draft next to Celebrini and all those guys that were in there. And same thing with Cataford. Cataford's I said this when we drafted him. That's a late round steal. He was like mid round pick.
Yep.
Great steal. But look at also the guys. It's like I saw a post like, why aren't we playing? It was this Henderson Silver Knight subreddit. Why aren't we playing Lindblom more? And I got downvoted. Granted, there's probably all like fucking 10 people on that subreddit.
Yeah.
It's like the bottom. The truth is that he's 21.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to play. We don't need Collar Lindblom to play AHL games. He can be in the ECHL. He can go back to Sweden. We don't need him to play games. He's 21 fucking years old.
Yeah.
Cook those guys as long as you can.
I think, if anything, this year is about prepping him to be
a backup.
Prepping him to be the 1B for Henderson next year with Schmid, and then seeing where he goes from there.
Looking at all the statistics, the goaltenders haven't been bad for Henderson. It's the defense and the team in front of us just let fucking shots go.
Oh my God, Alex, this is not a drill. Lane Hudson scored his first NHL goal.
Oh God, why is he on Team USA? Oh my God. Tyler. Lane Hudson, first NHL goal. Lane Hudson scored his first NHL goal.
Wow.
Yay!
I just commented. I left a comment on the post. I'm like, it's December.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
It's December.
I feel like it's gonna be a running joke on this podcast. Lane Hudson. He scored his first NHL goal, but they just lost the fucking Penguins 9-2, dude. We can take a quick look around. We got time. I know we're at the top of the Pacific. LA's got on the heater. I think we called this at the beginning of the year where the Pacific's going to be better than what people think.
Well, yeah, because us and fucking We just talked
LA,
about it earlier.
Edmonton.
Us, LA, Edmonton, they're at the top. Like,
Yeah, they're all three of those teams are very good in scoring a lot. LA is a very defensively sound team. Darcy Kemper's back. We've been scoring a ton. We're a defensively sound team. Chris Knobloch's got Edmonton playing a great defensive game, and they're scoring a ton. Like, look, they 6-3 on us. They fucking beat Minnesota 7-1 the other night.
Let's look at the NHL standings.
And then the Central's so good, but the thing that I feel great about is a statistic you brought up last week was how good we are against the Western Conference.
All right, this isn't the flex I thought it was going to be, but 3 of the top 10 teams right now are from the Pacific.
Really?
So Edmonton's 9, LA's 6, we're 5.
In that defense is that the East sucks so fucking much that the top teams are getting those points.
Yeah.
Like, there's a clear. Like, I know in the Pacific, we're talking shit from like fucking the top of the fucking mountain because like, you know, Anaheim and Calgary and Seattle. There's teams that just haven't been good. Especially Anaheim has been dog shit. But like, I would pit the top teams in the Western Conference against any team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And they would manhandle everybody. Florida's good, but like they're different. They don't feel as dominant as they've been, right?
I think they're just tired, man.
I think so too.
We saw it happen with us last year, you know?
Florida, you said tired. Like totally, because Florida's gone to 2 fucking cup finals in the last 2 years. They're going to be tired. The Rangers it's finally hitting them that they can be dominated by a better team.
Yeah.
The Islanders have been dog shit.
Oh, yeah. Not even
Penguins
worth mentioning.
falling off. Washington.
Well, hey, the Penguins have won 6 of their last 8.
I'll give them that, but it's not sustainable. Like
exactly, I'll give them that, but
they've got obvious flaws.
Let's be real. Nothing's fixed.
Some of those games they've won have been against dog shit teams. Minnesota. Not Minnesota. I'm sorry. Minnesota's very good. Montreal. Like, at what point? Like, I'm so sick of...
You know what someone needs to do? They need to track back and see how many games have the Penguins won since that gif of Crosby dead-eye staring into the camera came out.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, no, like they beat Montreal 9-2. It was so bad that Caden Peru, thank you, started the game, had like fucking 3 goals laid on him, and then Montembeault, selection for Team Canada, comes in and gets 6 fucking more. Like, unfucking believable.
Sam Montembeault was...
But Logan Thompson going to...
Team Canada goalie.
Logan Thompson could be number 2 or 3. Like, I frankly believe it's something that I've held true to myself, you know, outside of, like, you know, Tampa Bay and Florida winning, which I know they're Eastern Conference, but I don't feel like they're built like an Eastern Conference team. I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like Eastern Conference teams are built very differently than Western Conference teams.
Yeah, I feel like they really focus on
high scoring and highlights, flashy shit. Whereas Western Conference teams are just fucking brutal.
They're physical, they're deep, they're hard to play against.
Look at Florida and Tampa Bay. They built that deep and hard to play against. Us, Colorado, St. Louis. There's evidence that you have to build a team like that. Whereas a lot of Eastern Conference teams, because of the money, because of the tickets, because of the sales, you have to be flashy and scoring goals. You have to have stars. You have to have all these guys that are number 1 guys. Whereas the West, like, oh yeah, you can just fucking death by a million cuts. Like,
yeah. No, I agree. And
I know Nathan McKinnon is incredible. I know Jack Eichel.
Obviously, it's not absolute. You know, every good team needs high-end talent.
Sure.
Every team needs some degree of physicality. Obviously,
but like even the Eastern Conference, like, you know, look at Florida and Tampa Bay. Eastern Conference teams that have 1 cups. You look at that depth of Barkov and Kachuk, and Lundell and Lucic and Montour and Ekblad and Bobrovsky. There's a bunch of fucking guys in those teams. And same with Tampa Bay, Kucherov, Stammer. points.
That's why they're so successful in those conferences.
Yeah, and look,
that's why Toronto's better this year because they got Craig Berube
leaned
coaching.
into the depth.
They got some depth. Fucking finally. You can say what you want about fucking what's his name, Craig Conroy.
Not Craig Conroy.
Not Conroy.
The
guy, the former
Craig
GM
Berube.
the former GM of the Flames.
Oh,
now GM of Toronto.
Oh my God!
It's Conroy.
Not Craig Conroy. It's I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh my God!
I know you're out before I type in Leafs GM into the internet. Leafs. Brad Treliving.
Brad Treliving.
I didn't even search it. That popped in my head before I hit enter.
He's had a good.
Who the fuck is Craig Conroy? Why did I say that name?
Craig. He's a GM or head coach. Craig Conroy's been in the league. You're right. No, but Brad Treliving's made great fucking signings and made great plays. The Chris Tanev signing, the defense he's picked up.
Craig Conroy is the current manager of the Calgary Flames.
There you go. And then again,
Brad Treliving was the former manager of the Flames.
The Flames aren't having a terrible season.
They're not.
I thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. They're right in the middle.
Yeah.
They're not having a bad season. But no,
that's kind of. Is that not also the worst place to be?
Oh, totally.
All you're gonna do is sniff a wild card spot, miss out, and then fuck yourself over.
Here's what I'm saying is that Craig Conroy's got the Calgary Flames right in the middle. They're currently probably, I think they're like in a Western wild card spot with a defense of Rasmus Anderson, who's great.
Yeah.
Rasmus Anderson's fucking incredible.
Probably trade him at the deadline.
Mackenzie Weegar, incredible. And then, as much as I love these guys, Daniil Romanov, Brandon McCall, he doesn't have outside of his top guys, he doesn't have a good team.
Hey.
What's up? We're recording.
Say hello.
You want to talk about how terrible that game was?
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to another special guest.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle.
Always happy to be here.
I love your sweater.
Thank you.
Hell
Yeah.
That's
I was like,
perfect,
this is a
actually.
good
I
Christmas
fucking love
sweater.
that.
Yeah.
I
was so
Where'd
nice.
you get that? I need one of those.
Like not a sponsor, but like Violent Gentlemen.
Oh,
hockey.
shit. I love
Yeah.
them. I got a ton of shirts.
So many great things.
They make
sick,
great
dude.
shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I saw this, I was like, oh, I have to get it.
Well, obviously we were here for the game, and then I'm seeing everyone come in. I'm like, Alex, after we wrap up, I'm gonna walk to my house, grab some Santa hats
just
for
gonna
us,
sit here.
and come back. Like,
Oh, hell yeah.
We're just gonna hang out here.
We need some spirit.
Dude, we need something after that
Yeah.
game because God, that
Hey,
at least it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
It could have been 6-0.
Yeah.
Like
it
it was
could've.
trending that it was going to be a 5-0 game. We
Yeah.
lost 6-3. I'll take it.
To me,
Yeah.
what I'm really upset about was one that we went down by 5-0, and two, right when we were coming back, we let up a goal immediately.
Yeah,
Like,
and to
almost
fucking Jeff
immediately.
Skinner.
Stuart Skinner gave us a freebie,
Freebies.
and we squandered it.
I'm sad about it, but
But at the end of the day, right? What I would say is I would love to see Stu Skinner in a 7-game series.
oh my
Oh,
God,
absolutely.
yes.
Because we
absolutely.
would
Oh,
fucking
100%. We would own.
demolish.
We did own him.
Yeah.
We saw him in a 7-game series.
Oh, yeah.
We won the cup. We owned Stuart Skinner. We owned that team.
Yeah, I hate the Oilers.
I hate them so much.
Yeah.
Also, I'm out of here, but stay golden, everybody.
They go.
That was our good friend Kyler,
I love
another guest of the pod.
I love it. I feel like this turned it from a two-man pod to a 4-man.
Too many pods. But
Well,
yeah.
we're getting towards an hour, but I know from what Kyler was just talking about, yeah, it's a rough loss, but to bring it back into perspective, we had a rough loss. We're still number 1 in the Pacific. We're still 3
For now.
For now, but look at the Rangers.
We'll see how we're feeling a week from now.
Oh, sure, but
But you know, one thing I will say specifically to the Knights, the last 2 years we were already falling apart by Christmas.
yes, we
And then
look
the
solid
cup
right
year, obviously we ended up recovering, and then last year not so much.
Yeah.
But the last 2 years we were already falling apart by Christmas. We're not falling apart. We're looking really good.
We look good. There's, we talked about it, where it's like there's stuff we should, but there's stuff we can clean up. But this team is progressively cleaning up those issues, right? Where we picked up the defensive issues, we've cleaned those up.
Yeah.
We picked up the neutral zone issues, we've cleaned those up. Now let's clean up some rebound control. If that's what you got to clean up, oh, I love it. it could be worse. You could be the fucking New York Rangers and just letting every goal in that's possible.
Yeah.
Terrible team. Like, we were looking around the league. The West, it's kind of falling in line, right? It's Winnipeg. It's Minnesota. Minnesota's a little bit of a surprise, but you kind of think about it. I know we didn't have them high, but like we were both also like not super confident in having them that low because we both said
Exactly.
the Central could go any way possible. You never know.
Yeah, and I texted you this the other day, but I had this like kind of revelation watching them play in overtime. I'm forgetting it's against who, but I was like, you know why this team's so good? I mean, obviously Kaprizov's a beast, and fucking Gustafson's been much better, but also like this is one of the only teams in the league where all their young talent developed the way we thought they would.
Them in Dallas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yeah.
Matthew Boldy, Marco Rossi, Brock Faber.
How do you become a
Gustafson? He was traded there from the Senators, but they let him get some time.
How do you become a contender when you have $14 million in dead cap space?
You let those guys.
You have guys
you cook
on
those guys.
You have
you
guys
overcook those guys.
Yeah, exactly. You have guys like Marco Rossi and
then
fucking.
you got Brock Faber for 8 or something like that. It's gonna be one of the best deals in the fucking league.
Yeah,
he's so fucking good.
And then fucking Matt Boldy, man.
Matt Boldy's been elite.
This is why, like, I don't think I voiced this when we were talking about Four Nations last episode, but this is why, like, people are like, what? Why would Billy G have Trocheck and Nelson and whoever? And I'm like, guys, I am not doubting Billy G until I have a reason to.
No,
I am not doubting him until I have a reason to.
There's not, because look at his team right now. That man took Kirill Kaprizov, and Kirill Kaprizov is arguably right now top 5 player in the league. I would say, you know, in points, he's a top 5 player in the league. Mm-hmm. Boldy's been insane. Marco Rossi's been really good. Brock Faber, top 5 defenseman in the league. Brock Faber, I know I keep talking about this kid, but like he went from scoring so much. He got again snubbed for that Calder Trophy. He should have won that. He went from last year scoring all those points this year going, I won't score so much. I'm going to focus on defense and being really fucking good at defense and still scoring. And then Gustafson's been really good. Middleton has been great. Like, that team is just bought in so much. I know they lost 7-1 to Edmonton. It happens. Trust me. Minnesota fans, if you're listening to this, it fucking happens. We've been there.
Yeah.
Shit happens like that. It's fucking Edmonton. But I love the buy-in of everybody on that team to where, like, oh, yeah, we can be good. We're really good. And, like, Zuccarello, and then Konstantinov's been decent, too, like, in a depth role. That team could very well trade for a... Oh, well, they got fucking Jarachek. We didn't... from Columbus. He's probably going to play in that team eventually, like, in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like... and if they wanted to, they could package Jarachek to get a big-name forward for somebody. Like, Billy Guerin is a great GM.
Yeah.
To me...
And I feel like it's easy to dismiss him because, like, he's kind of the opposite of, like, McPhee and McCrimmon in the sense that, like, he's very casual, you know, he laughs, he jokes around with the fellas, and he seems low-key.
But also Billy...
But he's also smart. Like, he played.
Yeah,
like, he knows.
played, yeah.
Like,
but in my mind, it's like... in a structure of GMs that are like top guys, it's like Bill Zito, Guerin, McCrimmon, Jim Neal, like, and it's all Western Conference guys aside from Bill Zito. Brisebois. Oh yeah, Brisebois. And that's the thing that they talk about. You know, Vegas is like cutthroatness. Julian Brisebois is a fucking menace. Like, that man will fucking cut your throat.
Well, you know who's really cutthroat, but also can't build a good team is fucking Chris Drury.
Oh my God.
At least when we do it, it's to make the team better.
We didn't even talk about that because that happened after the last episode. Jacob Trouba to Anaheim for Uhor Vakanainen and a pick, right? And they didn't retain any cap. But like, everybody's like, what is Anaheim doing? And Anaheim's hitting the cap floor and getting a big fucking body.
And they're also getting vets that are going to help their young guys develop.
You don't tell me that Gudas and Trouba aren't going to help Michnikov and Zellweger. improve in their game? Absolutely.
Yeah,
like that's perfect.
You need leadership.
You need those guys, and then they traded Cam Fowler to the Blues,
Yeah.
but that's a foregone conclusion because Cam Fowler has been on his way out for the last 2 years.
He's too good. He's like Gibson. He's too good to rot away
I was
there.
kind of pissed off because I saw that trade, and a lot of the comments were like, "What's Anaheim and St. Louis doing? This doesn't make any sense. Like, what? There's no room for Scott Perunovich." I'm like, Scott Perunovich has not proven shit.
Yeah.
Like, Scott Perunovich hasn't proven anything. It's so much that fucking Suter has to take his spot in the bottom six. So don't give me bullshit that you're not making room for Perunovich. Perunovich is not going to be an AHLer. Sorry, it's a missed prospect.
It's one thing to be ruthless, but like I said, you have to be ruthless in a way that makes your team better. So
it doesn't make the Rangers better.
Exactly.
We can keep recording a little bit after Kobe, but that didn't make the Rangers better at all.
Yeah.
Period. Uhor Vakanainen is a 25, 26-year-old defenseman that just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
How does that improve the team? The Rangers as a whole. You don't need more defensemen that are fucking dog shit. You need fucking scoring.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if you got back like Zegras, but even though Zegras is injured, maybe if you got back a scoring forward.
They should have just taken fucking Cam Fowler back.
Fowler. Oh yeah.
The Ducks tried to include him in the deal, and the Rangers said no.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they tried to include him in the deal, and the Rangers said no.
I would love to have if I was in a place like the Rangers, I would love to have Cam Fowler back and Jacob Trouba. Yeah, but you made that point earlier, where it was one of the Rangers beat reporter for one of their the New York Post or something, and he was on Spit Chicklets, and he's like, they need a big body that can protect the net front, and there's you mean Jacob Trouba?
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't Trouba wasn't the problem. It's Drury trying to shake the room to cause drama. That's not how you change a team. Look at the fucking Sabres. The Rangers, I like guys on their team. Don't get me wrong. I really like those. There's a lot of Americans on the Rangers. Trouba was formerly Keontae Miller is American. Trocheck, Kreider. There's a lot of guys on the team that I really, really, really like. And I don't think it's who's the head coach for the Rangers?
Laviolette.
I don't think it's him either.
Well, no,
it's Chris Drury threatening to fucking.
This is this core's third coach in 5 or 6 years.
And again, Gallant wasn't a bad coach for them.
Yeah, he took the fall, but as we're seeing now, it wasn't because of him.
It's Drury. It's the GM.
Same thing in Boston, right?
Jesus.
GM makes bad moves, coach takes the fall. Not do that. We should probably address Robin Lehner's Twitter suicide.
Oh yeah, let's get back to that. Holy shit, dude!
You didn't see that last night?
You didn't see that last night? So he went on a stream of consciousness post, just
he basically
dude,
just had
it was
multiple
fucking
tweets that were
just
pages
the
and
longest,
pages, wall-to-wall text
the max
with
Twitter,
no punctuation.
About what? Just
everything.
Everything. His entire fucking last 5 years of existence. Dude, it was scary. This man's probably gonna kill himself.
I mean, he lost his all expensive snake farm. What else has he got?
Yeah, it was.
He talked about.
He talked a lot about Vegas, and he was saying how Peter DeBoer ruined his life, and also
yeah. That's my reaction. What?
I'm not a fan of DeBoer, but also at the same time, he's not fucking awful.
No, you read about.
Do you think Peter DeBoer gave Robin Lehner death threats?
No.
And
that's what he said in his post.
Do you think Peter DeBoer said I'll kill your children if you don't back up in this game?
I mean, he's got a face that looks like this says that,
yeah,
but
Lehner literally said in this post that he threatened his family, but you read everything.
And then he also said something oh, the last game I backed up for Vegas, physically I was so broken with injuries, but they forced me to back up for cap reasons, and I was well, I believe that.
That.
But then he said oh yeah, and they had to escort me directly to the bench because I was gonna fucking kill DeBoer if I saw him, and
Jesus.
But then you read everything about Pete, whereas everybody that plays for him is oh yeah, I love playing for Pete.
Yeah, he's had a lot of people that do like him as a coach.
Personally, as a fan, he made some dumb decisions.
Well, yeah.
Shit, but you read things from as a player, like guys that have played for him, they love playing for Pete DeBoer. He's a player's coach. San Jose love playing for him.
Yeah,
Dallas
he's
love
a
playing.
great coach. He keeps these teams going to playoffs.
He's a great guy.
You got to be good
I
for
have
something.
no ounce of belief. Like, and again, I feel so bad for Lehner that there's clearly in a mental health crisis.
I was gonna say, when I read that post, a lot of people took it and they're like, "Oh my God!" Either they were making fun of him or they're like, "Oh yeah, well let's turn this into a Pete DeBoer witch hunt." Or I was like, guys, I'm like the first and foremost thing here is that he needs fucking help.
Like he needs
I hope
hold.
someone in his inner circle fucking got him to a hospital, like whatever the Swedish equivalent to a 5150 is. Like,
Can you imagine being like DeBoer and just waking up and being like, I'm sorry, what the fuck happened overnight?
Totally,
and then he also was talking about fucking Ken from Sinbin.
Yeah, he
was like,
directly called out Sinbin about
he's like Mr. Sinbin podcaster fucking fucking my life over and blah blah blah. I was like, what the fuck? I don't want to say blah 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 because that sounds dismissive, but
it was just so like stream of consciousness, just like.
And then also English isn't his first language, so
no. And he's Swedish. He's not. But this is all on it's all a stream of consciousness. Fucking like 6 or 7 Twitter posts that's just
because you made some bad life choices doesn't mean it's somebody else's fault. Like you made your own bed.
It was insanity, dude. Like I'm surprised you didn't see it, but like.
No, but I'm gonna look at it later.
You know, I saw the first couple. I'm like, oh, dude, this is a suicide note. Like this is not good.
And that was the tragic part. Is he said a lot of stuff like.
I'm also curious on what set this off because I haven't heard about Lehner in a while.
Well, the whole thing is his whole bankruptcy stuff. It's it's been bouncing around so much, and I think what set him off was that in the last month
it's
or
oh my god.
Yeah, dude. It's
and
Max.
And then
Max
there's
characters.
More.
And there's 8 more of those just like that. And then he goes, "My account's been hacked." I'm like,
"Oh my god!"
He says that at the end because he isn't held liable in his hearings.
That is wild.
And then he talks about how he said another reason that he hated DeBoer is DeBoer stabbed Fleury in the back, and you shouldn't treat legends like that. And then I was the one that took the blame. And
oh my god!
He also said something like, I took the pay for half my ability. And I'm like, what?
No,
he got a 5x5. So
good deal.
I'm like, so are you saying you're a $10 million goal? I feel like I don't want to talk shit about him. The point being is he is obviously unwell.
Yeah,
very, very much. I feel so bad for the man
because it got a lot sadder and sicker. He was saying shit like, "Oh, the name Robin must be deleted."
Not Robin. My name is Bob. The name Lehner must be deleted. It's not.
He's like, I just want my family to be happy without me, and honestly, like I said,
clearly he has.
As soon as I woke up today, I was checking the news.
I
was waiting to see a Swedish newspaper saying "Oh,
Robin Lehner,
famous goalie kills himself and blows his brains out in the woods."
That's insane.
It's oh god, I feel so.
Who would have thought Pete DeBoer would be his 13th reason?
Yeah,
I feel so fucking bad.
I feel so bad because I do think Robin Lehner is a good goaltender and a good teammate. He never was able to deal with the mental anguish of being a top end person in a high end league, right?
Oh yeah.
So of course. You play for a team like Chicago. Well, the Islanders. He played for the Islanders too, right?
Yeah.
You play for a team like the Islanders and Chicago, to where you're being focused on a lot, and he just never dealt with it well. And he comes to Vegas, and it's a little bit more positive, but there's a lot of also here and there bullshit and shit happens, and Kelly McCrimmon's a psychopath. But yeah, go for it. But no, I do feel bad for him, but man,
I hope he's okay.
I hope he's okay. I hope someone called in on him.
He doesn't deserve. It's easy to say, he brought it on himself, but guess what,
guys? He doesn't deserve the bullshit he's getting his way. Just because
I feel like everyone loves to be supportive of mental health until you see
a breakdown happen in real time.
Until you see the symptoms and you see what the reality is.
No, totally, because you see it's a big thing in professional sports. Like, you don't see this in real time, right?
Yeah.
Like, but in real time, we're watching Robin Lehner have a real-time mania episode. You don't see this in baseball or football or shit like that. Like, it's kind of covered up. Whereas, like, even JT Miller, like, he was gone for, like, what, a solid 2 weeks from the Canucks? And someone's like, he had an interview after the Florida game, and he's like, first off, I'm not going to say why. Don't ask me about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to elaborate on it. Let's talk about the game.
And I hate it when the first comment is always some jackass like, well, guess what, buddy? You make all this money, so you better deal with it. I'm just like, I always just want to respond to that person and be like, pal, I guarantee that you have never, and you will never have the amount of pressure that these guys have.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're paid handsomely, but guess what? The amount of pressure that they have on them is astronomical for that reason.
Yeah.
The amount of scrutiny.
Oh,
like,
yeah. 100%.
Like, I'm like, what the fuck do you do? Are you a fucking random welder or some shit?
No, like, imagine, like, because I obviously am opening up on this podcast, but I went through some shit over the summer and had some, fucking anxiety and, mental health things. Imagine that, but you're a fucking a professional sports player. There's fucking some goo.
Imagine if
on the internet.
if a major metropolitan area was pinning their hopes and dreams on you.
Exactly.
And
Imagine
then attacking you and your wife and your children.
Imagine being JT Miller and they're attacking your entire family.
Yeah.
Because you happen not to win a game in the regular season against fucking Columbus.
Yeah.
Some shit like that.
It's insane.
But again, I hope Robin Lehner's doing all right. I hope.
I said all that is to say is I hope he's okay. I hope he's safe.
Yeah, I know
hope
we
he
have
gets the
our
help that he
opinions of
needs.
him, in hockey, but
Well, here's the
what
thing.
matters is the person.
You can have opinions of someone as a player.
It matters the person. It matters
Exactly.
that guy. Yeah.
Because, spoiler alert, I think Jack Eichel's a great player. I'm not sure he's a great person.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
he's a great player.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
No, I hope
you got to
Robin-
learn to separate.
I hope something called something or something happened. I just would hate to see something like a headline of Robin Lehner, fucking dead at whatever.
Yeah, or Robin Lehner fucking checked into mental hospital. Like,
I
mean, that would be
I'd
the
rather
best
see
for
that.
him. That would be the
checked into
best for him.
Checked into a.
There's nothing wrong with
clinic.
going to the mental hospital.
No, like it's
which,
just.
by the way, if you're listening, there's no shame in that.
There's no
we
shame
all
in
need
that.
help sometimes.
It's just there's a lot on these guys. There's a lot of these professional sports players, especially in hockey,
Yeah.
where it's just a rabid fan base. Like you just feel so bad for a guy like that. But
yeah.
but man, like that stream of conscious posting and everything, it's like where he was blaming Sinbin and the organization and anything but. It's a big thing where you.
Well, I was listening to Spittin' Chicklets and they had Josh McCabe, I think, who used to play for the Leafs a long time
So
ago.
is it
I don't know if
James
he's I don't
McCabe's
know
brother?
if he's related to him or not. But he was talking about his time in Toronto and like he not so subtly basically said
Very hard.
He basically like I had to get out of there because like I thought I was. He kept saying is like for my own health or I thought I was gonna die and like
Yeah, dude. Like
to me the implication was that the pressure was so much where he was like possibly thinking of doing something,
dude, totally. Like,
and he's like, I had to go.
It's the pressure, man. Like, I mean, look at Eichel, like leaving the pressure from Buffalo. Hanfin leaving the pressure from Calgary. There's a lot of guys that leave that pressure in Canada and immediately have better times. Look at Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Left Calgary, won a cup.
Well, I think we should wrap up. I need to.
But in general,
I'm gonna go get those Santa hats.
Yeah,
we
but
got,
in general,
folks, we got a Christmas party coming up
Christmas
here.
party coming. But in general, Vegas is okay. I'm not worried about a 6-3 loss to Edmonton. It's a lot of a season, ton of a season. We play Minnesota
And we're in a better
tomorrow.
spot now this time than we were last year. Last year we were already kind of falling
We
apart
have
by now.
we have really good underlying metrics. Power play is good. Defense is clean shit up.
I think the team's mindset is good too.
The team is buying in. We're back to that point. I'm very okay with shit. The third line of Hurdle, Holtz, and Olsen. That line's been really good. Carlson's line's been really good. Eichel's line's been really good. The fourth line's been fucking elite. It's just sometimes you'll get beat, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You can't win every single fucking game in a season. Shit like this happens. I'm not worried about them. Bottom line is, I think we'll be okay. Maybe after the Four Nations, maybe we come back and be like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
But it
We'll
depends
see.
how this goes. We got Minnesota tomorrow. We got Vancouver on Thursday. We've got a pretty light, December, right? After having a really fucking heavy
So
November.
I think we'll hop on this show one more time before Christmas. And yeah, we'll touch base, and then we'll have the
totally.
holiday break, and then we'll go from there.
We'll go from there.
January and February is always the dead time.
Yeah,
so
exactly. It's always rough because you have big breaks.
The best we can do is be in a good spot at that point.
Exactly. And until then, stay gold.
Stay gold, but also stay red and green.
Stay red and green. Have a good holiday.